Alright guys, so I want to say I'm sorry about the audio yesterday. I don't know what happened. I think maybe because the phone was far away and I was kind of, I don't know, sitting on the swing because the phone's on a tripod and it goes pretty high up. And I don't know, maybe it has something to do with it. It wasn't windy, hell, I don't know, but hopefully you guys could at least hear what I was trying to say in yesterday's video. Hopefully it did get the message out there. Now, as you can see by this one right here, you know, the worst program, and something I don't recommend to parents to send their kids to if they have learning disabilities. And as you can see, worst program, TRC. I'm going to be speaking on my experience. So I just want to say, if I look a bit rough this morning, you know, I woke up not long ago. It's nice out. It's been a while since we filmed outside like this, minus the little other times. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right on into it. So the TRC program, as I can remember, the best I can from the beginning, was a program that was heard about during a, well, I was like in this work class. Let me do something really quick. So the TRC program was a program that was heard about when I was in this work program class for people, again, you know, with learning disabilities, so you could learn how to work. And a couple, if not all, the jobs were voluntary work. So, you know, voluntary means you don't get paid for it at all. But the ones that was heard about is called the TRC. And that's the one where my so-called father wanted to get involved with my life. He's like, ooh, you get paid? Because to him, he's like, yeah, I can start charging your ass money now. And those that may not know, it is illegal and against the law to take money or to charge rent for a person with any type of disabilities, because that's stealing money from them. And of course, again, those that have seen the video that I did called Trust and Money In-Depth Interview, I talk about things like that in depth that happened to me. Again, you know, I will link that video in the description below this one, just like I did with yesterday's video as well. So by the time, I want to say the mid of 2009 at the most, around fall season, is when I had to go in for testing to see if I did qualify for TRC. And when it comes down to the testing of it, it is very short. It is really a lot of the basic stuff that a lot should know regardless. By the time your test results come back to say, oh, okay, well, your child qualifies for our program, I don't want to use the word media trained, because there's no media around with it, not even with today's standards, but kind of like trained to give a good speech, to give a good pitch, if you will, to a program that makes these wonderful promises to your child. That's like, okay, if there's going to be a lot of doors open, they're going to earn money, they're going to get an education this way, they're going to be offered to look into other jobs. We also have where quote-unquote TRC college, which is in Smyrna. That's not even a college. It is not a college. But I will get to that later on in this. So during the process of entering to the program with working at the plant, right, the TRC plant, they want to, again, pitch something that's really great, that sounds promising, but with a lot of false promises. A lot of false promises. It really is. During that, you as the, at this time, some say, okay, well, you're still considered a young adult. You do have the right to speak and to choose, like, okay, well, that sounds good, but at the same time, this other things may not what I want to do, and they don't give you that opportunity to speak. So the pitch that they give, they team up or really brainwash the parents first. So it's the parents, the program, the caseworker, and somebody else who's planning out your future. So, okay, this is your future. It's now planned out for you. This is what you're going to be doing and what you're going to be working towards. So you have no say. And something like that is really going to be bothersome and troublesome. And a lot of people are going to see why, those that have experienced that. So during the process of that, you're going to be starting out small. You're going to be working first, and about maybe a week to 2 weeks in, one thing they really hate is somebody that can actually hold their own when it comes to work. Somebody who may draw towards other people as a likable person, and somebody who doesn't mind trying to communicate. And because of that, they're going to want to say, oh, well, you're not getting any work done. That's kind of hard to say that, since I done these many amount of pieces. This is how much it came back on the scale, because they got the way whatever it is that you do. They take those numbers about 2 weeks. Then it's going to show, okay, this is how much money you made in 2 weeks, but this is how much it has to be tracked down to, because they do take money out of taxes. I do have my pay tabs, and again, TRC program, when you work there, you're making hot water heater parts. You do get paid. Like, I still have my paychecks, my pay tabs, and everything, and I made a pretty decent amount of money, even though I didn't get to see my money, because again, it was being took. And if you guys want to know more again about that, just watch the video that I have linked down in the description below, called Trust and Money In-Depth Interview. But back to the thing at hand. During the process of really working there, they're going to want to set you up now for like a schooling called TRC, which again they label as a college. And that's one thing it's not. It is not a college. It is far from that. It is a place to teach you really how to live on your own. But I will get to that and later on in the story. But as you're working in the plant, you do have a time frame of 18 months, which is about 2 years, I do believe. So you're there for 18 months, which is 2 years at the most, 2.5. And I wish I had some people I know with me in this video, man, because maybe, actually I take that, I really wish I had 3 people, maybe 4, in this video with me, so they can share the experience that they went through and that I went through. And this is really where I'm getting into. Again, this is where I'm be talking to parents at, man. If you put your child through this, you really need to listen to them. Don't recommend this program. Again, I wish I had some other people, but behind closed doors, they really treat the young adults to the older adults like shit. I understand when you first meet these people, yeah, they're gonna put on a front, they're gonna seem nice, but behind closed doors, it is not like that. It is abuse. They do abuse the workers behind closed doors. And there's levels to this. They do that because they think, well, none of these people can defend for themselves. So to them, it gives them the right to treat us like shit. Most of the time, a lot of the abuse is kind of like the things that you hear that takes place like in elderly homes. To get into some of the details, and this is where I'm going to put a warning at, because a lot what I'm about to share with the abuse that takes on behind the TRC doors in the plant, in the back, it gets a bit graphic from here. So a lot of you may want to click off, because what I'm about to get into is about to be a bit graphic. I'm going to share some stories. Alright? Part of my voice, you gotta remember, I woke up not long ago, so I'm not fully there. One of the things that'd be considered abuse in any form is getting somebody in trouble. They will take anybody, may not be anybody, I take that back. It's not going to be just anybody. They're going to take somebody who is like, well, this person looks like they can intimidate the others out there in the field. They're going to hire that person on as a secret snitch, an eavesdropper, if you will. They're going to pay them a few extra bucks. Those that don't know, it's just like when you work for the informants. If you help become a snitch for the informants, they do pay you money. You do get paid for fucking snitching. And that's one thing that they would do. So each time you would hear about somebody getting fired or called into the office or getting written up with warnings, and they can't figure out why. It's like, well, how did you hear about this, or who told you? Because the supervisors are nowhere near the employees on break. And how they come to find out this information, even with stuff that's outside of work, and a lot of it takes place outside of whatever these people do outside of work, they get in trouble for it. The reason for that, again, the supervisors hire somebody that people do not like, and that somebody becomes a snitch, and they get paid extra dollars for it. Because I am a good worker, they didn't like that, because again, I'm a good worker. I'm going to have a lot of parts weighed down. I'm going to have a lot of weight, plus make a lot of money. Because one of the things that they say is like, well, your goal is to reach to a minimum wage, which is a goal you don't want to reach to working there, because minimum wage ain't going to get you shit. You stay off of minimum wage. That's why you can make as much money as you want. They didn't like that. So they would have me called in so many times and just give these false reports, and me getting in warnings, and you know, I didn't like that. So you have situations like those. One of the things that would be considered abuse is taking that employee's parts, and they would again hire the snitch to do this. They would take the employee's parts and mess them up. So I remember being on the wheel, and I'm doing my good work. I know what exactly it is that I'm doing. I could see out the damn corner of my eye what's going on the other side of this table, because it's the bottom part's big. That's where all the parts gonna be. You're gonna be working the machine, putting the rest of the stuff together. The top part ain't that big, so I can see what the hell you doing. So they're gonna hire this person to take your parts. They're gonna have a tool to fuck up your parts, put them in the messed up bin, and then they're gonna say, okay, well, you had these many messed up parts. That's been known to happen to me. I would get called in the supervisor's office, and I would tell them, I'm doing a good job putting these parts together. I'm telling them what I'm seeing and why these parts are getting messed up. They're like, no, that's not true, that's not true. I'm telling me the fuck it ain't true. So there'd be things like that. Another part that would be considered abuse. Getting yelled at for no apparent reason by the supervisor. When you're sitting there, just doing your work, or even during break time and lunch break, and that's been known to happen to me. And I actually had to make a phone call for somebody to come up there and get me. And it's like, it's not true. We didn't yell at them. A whole group of the employees heard you. But when it came time for questioning, a lot of them don't want to get in trouble. So a lot of them don't believe in standing up for themselves, and that's one thing that they do there at the TRC plant. They try to break you mentally to where you won't stand up for yourself, and then everything will come back like, oh, it's not true, he just lied. No, it's kind of hard to, like, one, you can't just, film and pull out your phone, but that's one thing that they would do. They would yell. Going in on that, which would be physical. There would be some physical contact, and when you try to do something or say something about it, that it's going to be you getting in trouble just for standing up for yourself. Things like that would take place. Another part that would take place out of this, when it comes to health with abuse, during the wintertime, they would go ahead and have all 2 shipping doors open, and the door open as well, along with the 2 emergency doors open for the cold to come in. And we weren't allowed to wear our jackets and have long t-shirts on, so you would have to stay there and suffer in the cold. From there, this is where we get into the TRC so-called college. It's not a college, it's a place to really teach you how to live on your own, but what are they really teaching? That's the thing. The same type of bullshit would take place at that kind of facility. I would go on to experience that myself for 6 months. Nothing really is being taught. Is shit that you already know. Knowing how to shave, I already know how to do that. Laundry, I already know how to do that. Cleaning, again, those are things that you're gonna know how to do. There may be different jobs that they give you, but it really depends on what it is, and mine was work. The same type of shit that I was doing at the plant, the same shit I was doing at this facility, but we were taking apart VHS tapes, lotion bottles, things out of that nature. The same type of drama which would go on. People snitching, you had gossip, you had the supervisors again with the teachers. If there's a student just doing well, we don't like that. You would have those that would set you up to get in trouble. You know, that would happen, that would take place. During the end of your 6 months, you'll be waiting again for another 6 months to go back to finish up your second part. After the process of that, I know people that did, you know, finish the programming there, but they were given false hope and false promises, talking about they'll get a job once they finish. Those that finish the program, they're still waiting till this day to try to even get a job. Yeah. Your case manager, your case worker, they're not the one that they're... Okay. From the program that you go to the facility, to the plant before that, in between there, you get this false hope about your case manager, your case worker saying, hey, I'm going to look for you a job. Again, I wish there were a couple of people that I do know, that I do speak to every now and then that were here, because they can tell you from personal experience themselves about the shit that I'm talking about, and they went through their own abuse during this, as well as giving this false hope and promise. Again, just, I'm gonna look for a job for you. No, because the truth is, they're not looking for a job for you. Even though you're out there yourself looking, they're supposed to help you and they ain't. So a lot of people had to leave and go outside and say, you know what, I don't need this because I see what this is doing to me. It ain't doing much. There's a breaking point for everyone. And because of that breaking point, the same abuse that would take place during the plant and during the living facility for the program, there's more abuse than anything at this program, at the TRC. There's only so much a person can take. And let me tell you something. When I was at the plant before I got transferred to the facility, I snapped. I'm not the type to take shit from anybody. They didn't like that. Let me tell you something. I called out the snitch. A lot of people knew who the snitch was. I even let it be known to the supervisor. You playing blind to this fact. You have to stop it. You have to stop it. Soon enough, yeah, I clocked out. I went home. A couple of the people there that been through that, they clapped for me. And it's like, about time somebody did something. Called these people out. Next day, went in for a meeting about what happened. They printed up false reports, false paperwork on shit I didn't even say. About a couple months later, somebody from the plant who did work there came by the house, and he's like, yeah, a lot of stuff that takes place behind those doors, he is telling the truth about, and he shared his personal experience with my parents. And then others would follow along and say, yeah, like, it's actually true. This is what they do with their employees behind closed doors. And then soon enough, my parents were like, wow, they actually do that shit? And it's like, well, maybe the college might be better, and it's not a college. And soon enough, they would soon see, just as I did, that it's just the same way. Because of that, there are people out there, again, till this day, that are struggling for work, that were given this false hope from these programs, from the TRC, and because of the shit that happened to them, the same thing that's happened to me, you get a sense of PTSD of some sort, to where you don't want to work into a factory. You don't really want to be around a lot of people working like that, because you don't know what somebody's motives are, who may want to get you in trouble. And there's a lot of things that you don't want to go back towards. And because of that, again, when you take somebody in my state, or I won't say, not state, somebody in my predicament that went through, again, the videos I'm about to name to wrap this up, so I don't want to make it too much longer. There's going to be certain videos I'm going to link down in the description below for this video that all adds up to where I am now. One, being promised a fake diploma. Me end up getting a fake diploma when I finished high school. Two, my point of view on where I stand now with that fake diploma and the so-called shit that was given to me. Three, the trust and money in-depth interview from those that take advantage of those with any type of disabilities, and especially with parents that become these people's overseers who steal money from their own on disability and who make them suffer and put them through abuse. You guys will also be able to hear all three of those stories that lead up to this one right here, which the worst program, TRC, and it's something I don't recommend, because if you're a parent and you're thinking about sending your kid to this program because of the stuff that these people were trained to say, it's false promises and it's false hope, and your child is going to suffer if you do that to them and put them through this program. It really is. It is something I do not recommend at all, because what it's going to do to them later on is going to mess up the work experience for them. And then guarantee me, there are a lot of people out there like me, like this, to where after about 10 years they feel like the best place for them is being in jail or out in the streets. I have these kind of talks with my mother at times, and I tell her sometimes I think it was better off for me just being in jail. At least there's people like me there that I can relate to, or living in the streets. Especially if you're around my age and you went through the bullshit that I went through with the stories that you guys will hear, especially with the videos linked down in the description below, then you know I don't qualify for today's new standards to even get a job. I don't know how many times I have to say that, or even say what those new standards are. But again, those new standards would be: 1, you have to have 4 full years of high school. 2, 1 year of college. 3 months of work experience. And this is where I'm going to say this: the TRC program and their manual handbook, they're going to tell you this: TRC program is not a real job, so if you fill out an application, do not put us down as a resource. Which makes no sense, because if you're have people working there and you're giving out paychecks, pay tabs, ain't that considered a real job when you can cash those? Yeah. You can't have any type of disabilities. You can't have any type of criminal records. You know, me, I would have a record for a long time. Luckily, it did get fully erased and fully expunged, so I'm no longer in the system. Nothing could ever show up. From there, you must have your own vehicle of transportation. Because those things is why I don't qualify for today's new standards. So I got to go out and try to make what it is that I can with what it is that I can do with my talents and get by. And it's very little, but you know what? A lot of that money adds up pretty damn fast. So it makes it look that I have a job. I will also link another video called Work and Jobs to Give People a Chance and How Things Changed. And I do get emotional in that video. So with that being said, with it going on 25 or 29 minutes in this video, I'm out. And again, if you're a parent that's saying, I want to send my kid to this program, do not do it. Do not do it. Your kid will suffer through abuse a really lot, and there's a lot they may not even tell you. So don't do it. Even as an adult, they do that. Even those as the elderly, they do that at this program. So do not go there. I'm out, and thank you.